Getting dunked on is undeniably one of the most shameful ways to be humiliated on live TV. But I believe getting your ankles snatched and instantly losing your balance on your own volition is much worse than being posturized. Among the list of great NBA players that are currently active and those who have passed, who do you think is the master of ball control and has the slickest handles of all time? Well, let's find out. Before we get into the video, please smash the like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon to be a part of the Alley Oops family. Number 10, Steve Nash. Who would have thought that a 6'3" super scrawny kid out of the coldest borders up north would become a back-to-back MVP in the best basketball league on earth? At number 10, we'll kickstart this list with Steve Nash. Starting as a backup for legendary point guards Kevin Johnson and Jason Kidd, Nash had to earn every minute given to him in a stacked backcourt lineup of the Phoenix Suns. He finally blossomed as a steady floor general as part of the Dallas Mavericks when he got traded in 1998. Since then, Nash's game only trended upward, and he thrived as the man who runs the show for Don Nelson's offense-first philosophy. Despite the clear shortage in athletic gifts, Nash used his natural shrewdness to control the game, just like a seasoned herder lords over his flock. He knew where his teammates were at all times and always delivered the rock in the most optimal situation. Though his dribbling prowess is not as flashy as the other guys on this list, Nash's adherence to his strong fundamentals is a clear indication that you don't need to waste extra energy to be efficient. At Phoenix, Nash literally rose like a phoenix when he returned to the team that drafted him in 1996. Under D'Antoni's blitzkrieg high-octane attack, Nash and his crew unleashed an offense onslaught that has never been seen before. Phoenix has enjoyed several winning seasons with Nash at the helm, and this is just a testament that you can dominate the league with a skinny frame and unruly hairstyle. Number 8, Pete Maravich. If you type Pete Maravich on YouTube, you'll probably see nothing but highlights of him in an unstable, discolored, black and white vintage resolution. That's because Pistol Pete put the sauce 9 years before Magic arrived, and before the word sauce was even associated with basketball. If Magic was the father of flair, Maravich was the forefather of pizzazz. Armed with his golden mop-top hairdo, Maravich was a magician with the ball in his hands, doing spectacular dribbling expeditions out of his Globetrotter-esque repertoire and throwing absurd bowling passes that left people in awe. Nobody could do what Pistol Pete could do in the 70s. And what's even more amazing was that he did it with poise and manly grace. It is quite disappointing that only a few people got to marvel at Maravich's greatness in his prime, as he wasn't able to showcase his stuff during the resurgence of the NBA in the late 80s and 90s, when it grew in popularity and increased its global reach. But still, Maravich was one of the pioneers that made ball handling and dribbling fun to watch, and that's why he deserves a spot in the pantheon of ball handling greats. Number 7, Jason Williams. In a sport dominated by black players, the movie White Men Can't Jump was released in 1992 to prove that white peeps can also hang around with their African-American counterparts. In 1998, Jason Williams made a sequel out of that in the NBA when he got drafted 7th overall and proved that white men can ball too. So much so that they christened him White Chocolate due to his electrifying passes, smooth and silky play style, and incomparable swag. To break down his game, Williams was a confident player who never second-guessed in threading the defense with a laser pass or a risky behind-the-back delivery. As a player with street ball roots growing up on the coast of Florida, Williams has a strong command of the ball and frequently toyed with opponents with a combination of head and shoulder fakes, followed by lightning crossovers. There was even a time where he transformed Gary Payton into a statue after he hit him with a Hesse crossover combo and delivered an off-the-bank floater on his head. J-Will made distribution and dribbling as fun and exciting as making a basket or a dunk, and I believe that's more than enough to be included in this impressive list. Number 6, Allen Iverson. On the fateful night of March 12, 1997, everyone knew that the GOAT would be featured on SportsCenter that night. But the thing is, nobody expected that the spotlight would not be on him, but instead directed towards a young 6-foot guard named Allen Iverson. Just right beneath the top of the key, Iverson delivered a nasty crossover that baffled Jordan, which was followed by a sweet-looking jumper. We all know that Michael Jordan is the greatest basketball player ever, but for 5 seconds or so, Allen Iverson made him look like he was not. In this list of greatest ball handlers, there's no doubt that AI should be a shoo-in. The insane pullback dribble and iconic step-over against Tyronn Lue, the double crossover that made Antonio Daniels look like Neo from The Matrix. Iverson has snatched more ankles than the Grim Reaper himself. Number 5, Chris Paul. At number 5, we got the wizardry of CP3. If you're looking for one of the best caretakers of the basketball, Chris Paul could definitely give you 12 to 15 dimes with no turnovers in his sleep. A cerebral and calculative floor general, CP3's ball handling and decision-making skills are second to none. He can turn an almost dying franchise like OKC and Phoenix into instant contenders with his exceptional leadership and mere on-court presence alone. Standing at 6 feet, Paul carries steady handles and superb IQ to compensate for his lack of height at the point guard position. During pick-and-roll situations, CP3 can bend rules according to his liking and make impossible reads quite so easily. One of his go-to moves is the fake-out between-the-legs dribble, where he would fore-in a pass to his trailing teammate, and if the opponent lost his focus, he would explode and blow by to leave him in the dust. This is just a sample from his bag of tricks, and he isn't known as one of the greatest point guards of all time for nothing. Number 4, James Harden. The level of disrespect when James Harden put Wesley Johnson on the deck, followed by a sarcastic stare, was just simply on another level. That vicious incident alone is enough to propel James Harden to the 4th spot in this list. Many have tried and many have failed. Trying to steal the ball away from Harden is like having an intense allergy all over your body. It's extremely annoying, and when you try to scratch it, it just makes it worse. Putting it in the James Harden context, you can only contain the beard to a certain extent. And when you try to reach in, it'll just result in fouls and free throws. Harden is one of those players that has managed to bend the rules according to his favor, as referees will quickly blow their whistles every time they see him come into the contact with another body. He's just so good at selling calls that he should just be a car salesman or an insurance broker. I'm not trying to steal James's thunder here, and all I'm trying to say is that the chances of pickpocketing Harden are almost as impossible as the world stops spinning. It's just either you'll pick up a foul or be frustrated. That's it. Number 3, Jamal Crawford. The first time I saw Jamal Crawford victimize Kirk Hinrich with a behind-the-back, hop-step dribble combo, I said to myself, this man should be banned, or could have at least received a fine for treating a grown man like that. With the Twitter handle @JCrossover, omitting Jamal Crawford's name on this list is simply unacceptable. Crawford was one of those waves of players that brought street ball style of play into an organized environment. He pulled some of the most lethal crossovers between the legs and behind the backs, and sometimes he would just combine those and do all of them in one single possession. What made Crawford's crossover different from others is that there's a certain degree of crispness to his moves and the evil intention to break someone's ankle. Just ask Wesley Matthews, who wasn't able to keep in step with him. The poor Andre Miller, who willingly followed the footsteps of Hinrich. Or Rudy Gay, who got so badly humiliated when he fell trying to hang with him. These are just some of the players that can testify how bad Jamal Crawford is when he starts to dance. Number 2, Steph Curry. You know it's unfair when you have an unlimited range plus crazy ball handling skills in your back pocket. Grabbing the number 2 spot on this list is none other than the baby-faced assassin himself, Steph Curry. Known for his out-of-this-world shooting prowess, Steph's dribbling skills can sometimes be overlooked because of his primary weapon. But the thing is, his superb ball handling skills allows him to get into his shooting rhythm before jacking up those long-range missiles. Though his dribbling demeanor is not as exaggerated as Jamal Crawford's or AI's, Steph has incredible footwork that allows him to get around opponents with ease. Remember the time he put the French giant Rudy Gobert on a blender? When you break that play down, he toyed with Gobert using a variety of hesitation dribbles mixed with step backs. But most importantly, he did it compactly at an average pace. He's not as explosive as the others, but in the end, it was just enough to put Gobert in his rearview mirror for an under-the-rim reverse finish. This is the kind of ball handler Chef Curry is. He sees his opponent like cold-cut beef that needed to soften up first. He'll tender you up with Hessies, or basically making a fool out of you, and when he feels that you're soft enough to be eaten, the chef will ignite the grill and burn you badly in the process. Number 1, Kyrie Irving. Footwork? Check. Dexterity? Check. Speed? Check. Explosiveness? Check. Balance? Check. These are just some of the top qualities of a premier ball handler, and guess what? Kyrie Irving possesses all of the things that I just mentioned. Uncle Drew is simply Houdini in disguise that has a basketball on a string. He can elude and escape any form of defensive harassment you put on him using his ball wizardry. Irving can stack up successive dribbling maneuvers without him getting fatigued, and his quick reaction to whatever the defense throws at him is just remarkable. What I like about Kyrie's handles is that he knows what move to use in a specific situation, and he always gets a counter whenever you double team him or apply a tricky defensive scheme. Throughout the long years of watching the NBA, I've never seen a guy who can break down an entire defense on his own like the one he pulled against the Rockets. Yes, we might not agree with him that the world is flat, but I believe that we can all agree that Kyrie Irving is the undisputed king of handles. Do you agree with me about the players that I just talked about? If not, which players do you think would be suitable to be added to this list? Let me know your answers on this one through your comments below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell so that you're a part of the Alley Oops family.